new tariffs from China, and analysts say that is what Beijing intends. Laura Westbrook, Hong Kong.
From Bureaus Worldwide, this is FSN.
From the studios of Extreme Sports in Hastings, Nebraska, we present Huddle Up, a great way to start your day with all the news, weather, and sports you need, interesting interviews, and friendly conversation from two guys that go together like Scooby and Shaggy, Mike Will and Tyson Havronic.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Huddle Up here on Extreme Sports. It is the first day of spring today. It's the 20th day of March for 2025. Mike Will, along with Tyson Havronic, ready to start your day the right way here today. All of your news, weather, and sports, a little friendly conversation. And we'll get you through the hour as we try to get back to normal after the snowstorm that moved through the area yesterday. Going to be talking about the Nebraska baseball team today. The Huskers picking up their midweek sweep over Pepperdine yesterday, winning by the score of 11-4. The Hastings College women's basketball team in Sioux City today, getting ready for the round of 16 of the NAIA National Tournament. The Broncos will be taking on Bethel of Tennessee today in a 1 o'clock ball game. A couple other teams from the GPAC also here in Sioux City getting ready to play in the round of 16. The men's tournament going on down in Kansas City. We've still got one team from the GPAC there. And today is also the opening day for the NCAA men's college basketball tournament. We'll be talking about that throughout the program here today as we wake you up and get you going here as we welcome in Tyson Havronic from the Western Studios, completely fully powered after yesterday's power down.
Yeah, big credit. Credit where credit's due. Hastings Utilities, man, they had their work cut out for them yesterday. No doubt about it. You saw the city power outage maps on social media, I'm sure. You saw the number of customers that were without power as of 5:30, and as the storm continued to move along, even into as early as 7 o'clock, customers were still popping off without power. Power poles, power lines, just about everything you can imagine was down and in the middle of the street yesterday as that storm blew through. But one of those days where you have to go above and beyond maybe the call of duty, and they certainly did that in unimaginable adverse conditions. Hell, quite frankly, on the face of the earth. As I kept looking out my window, I'm like, oh hell no, like that's awful. And I mean, as cold as it is in here, it's got to be like 10 times more horrible for the linemen out there, and utilities working around the clock. Right shortly after noon, after 12 o'clock, power was restored, and it's one of those days where, you're sitting on your ass with nothing to do, and you just go to appreciate all these little tiny little blessings that you have each and every day, like Wi-Fi and just lights and heat. We go every single day without ever thinking about, God, how lucky we are to have that stuff. Yesterday put that baby in perspective right away. So again, major tip of the cap to the HU, and as they continue to work, we'll have the latest on everything that they did yesterday and some of the issues. I mean, let alone the adverse conditions, some of the issues they were dealing with. We'll talk about that here on the show. Also, coming up a little bit later on this morning, not only bracket picks for you as we'll get underway with day one. I call this day one officially of the NCAA basketball tournament. Apart from the play-in games, we'll hit you up with our my first round picks here for today. But we've also got Mayor Jay Beckby joining us for a two-part series. In part one of that, originally scheduled for yesterday, obviously with no lights and no ways to have that interview, no interview. But we'll get that interview underway as we discuss some of the finer points from the State of the City address. So, yeah, lots to talk about, Mike. I feel like I'm playing a little bit of catch-up here with you as you were able to get on for a little bit yesterday over there in Sioux City. What was the weather like in Sioux City, pray tell?
Well, we had the snow, but they were calling for like 10 inches of snow up here for this storm, so that's why I got the hell out of town early. I got up here, and there's about, I'd say, 3 inches. They had the winds. They had the snow yesterday when we were getting it back home, but there's about maybe 3 inches, maybe 4 up here. But everything's looked like it's in normal fashion today as I look out my motel window. As you can see, I've got a different look here today on my screen. As we're sitting in Sioux City, just a couple of blocks away from the Tyson Event Center here in Sioux City, getting ready for Hastings and Bethel this afternoon. We will have the game for you beginning at 12:45 pregame show, 1 o'clock for the tip-off. Both teams are staying actually in the same hotel that I am. So both teams are here, and that tournament is going to go on as is scheduled. I don't see any weather delays or time changes for that one as they get ready to go for their round of 16. There are some school closings that we want to mention here early. Adams Central is going to be closed today as they continue to get their roads back to halfway decent shape out in the rural areas. Adams Central is going to be closed today. Aurora is going to be closed. Blue Hill is going to be closed. Central Community College in Hastings will be starting classes at 11. Centura starting classes at 10. Christ Lutheran Elementary in Juniata is starting at 10 o'clock. Donovan Trumbull is going to be closed today. Gibbon will be starting 2 hours late. Harvard is going to be closed today. Hastings College is calling off their morning classes. They've been canceled. The afternoon classes will meet in person today. Hastings Public Schools will be starting classes at 10 this morning. Kennesaw starting at 10, Minden at 10. Red Cloud is going to be closed today. Silver Lake is closed. And Wood River starting 2 hours late. Those are some of the school closings that we have in right now. If you got any others, shoot us a message on our Facebook page or our social media sites. Let us know about them and we'll pass them along. But Adams Central is closed. Central Community College starting at 11 this morning. Hastings College morning classes canceled. Afternoon classes will meet in person. Hastings Public Schools 10 o'clock start today.
Of course, the CCC starting at 11, not like 1:30. So I still got to go in, but that's fine. Need to get up and get going. Speaking of getting up and getting going, we got the phone lines up and going. Ryan Martin has joined us here this morning. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning, guys.
Ryan, what's going on? How was the snow day for you?
Things are good. Got my driveway shoveled last night, and with the warmer weather, that kind of helped. But it was a wet snow. It was very hard to plow.
I'm not looking forward to that. I got to do that this morning.
Yeah, but I survived. Hey, I just want to call in and talk a little March Madness with you guys real quick. I know you guys got a busy show, but KU plays tonight. We got to kick it off. March Madness. We're ready to go. However, I don't think my Jayhawks are going to make it very far.
Arkansas.
I don't have a lot of faith in them.
Arkansas is a traditional kind of a powerhouse way back in. I know they had some runs in the early '90s. That's a tough first round matchup for you right out of the gates, and then you win that game, and you're probably staring down the barrel. I mean, I'm hoping it's UNO from the Nebraska perspective, but realistically, you're probably staring down a St. John's team, right? And so that's a tough
it's crazy.
draw.
It's crazy how the committee looks for those storylines with 3 Hall of Fame coaches right there in the same 14 bracket. So yeah, it'll be interesting having Calipari and Self match up. They've had some history matching up before in a couple NCAA championships with KU beating Memphis and then Kentucky taking it back to KU. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see Self and Calipari square off, and then if KU does advance, they play St. John's, which the storyline there is Zuby Ejiofor, the center for St. John's. He left Kansas 2 years ago because we recruited Hunter Dickinson from Michigan over him. So he saw he wasn't getting enough playing time, so he transferred to St. John's, and now he's lighting it up for 15, 20 points. So that'll be an interesting storyline if we do advance and the St. John's advance. So it'll be interesting for sure. It'll be a good tournament.
As far as the bracket challenge is concerned, I'm assuming that you've joined our bracket challenge, Ryan. Who do you have taking it all? If you're not really confident on Kansas, who do you have circled in the championship?
Well, in my Final Four, I got Auburn, Florida, Alabama, and Houston. So 3 number 1 seeds. Number 2 seed is Alabama. I got Auburn and Houston in the championship because I've been watching them all year long, and they're just so good. But anything can happen in March, obviously. But I got Houston beating Auburn and taking the national championship back to Houston. I think they're going to get done.
I was just making notes, Ryan. I was comparing your bracket to my bracket, and they don't look anything similar.
That's funny. That's good. Hey, I want to mention to you guys a little FYI. You're a racing fan, right, Mike?
Yeah, I am.
So Clint Boyer, I noticed him on the TV the other day doing some announcing now. He must have retired from racing.
No, Clint Boyer is still out there. Did you watch like an Xfinity race or something like that?
Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, he was on there announcing and talking about the pregame for the race.
Yeah.
Anyway, my tie to Clint Boyer is I went to high school with him.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a year older than me from Emporia, Kansas, and I played lots of soccer matches against him and basketball as a youth, and so it was really cool when he got into NASCAR. And he's got this whole NASCAR building on the fairgrounds of Emporia, Kansas. So that's my little tie to NASCAR racing, is going to school with Clint Boyer.
If you have a poll, Ryan, you can give him our number and have him call the show.
Yeah,
Ryan,
I haven't been in touch with them since 2000. So,
Ryan, what type of a student was Clint Boyer in high school?
well, he was actually a pretty good student. He was very athletic, so he was popular as far as an athlete goes. But academics, I think he was pretty good. He was never really a class clown, so. Never knew that he was going to go to NASCAR racing. You know, I grew up playing against him competitive soccer, and he was a heck of a soccer player. So he was in the circle with a lot of chicks then, right? You got it. You got it. No pun intended, because now he races in the circle.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, guys. Hey, I'll let you get back to your show, but I just want to chime in on some March Madness.
Got her, buddy. Have a good day.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, bye, guys.
Yeah, the Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas has got Arkansas tonight. I've got Kansas winning. You missed my first-round picks yesterday, so that's okay. I have Kansas winning in the first round. I'll just tell you, I've got my Final Four out here. Since Ryan has already thrown out his Final Four, I'll give you my Final Four.
I'll throw mine in the mix.
All right, we got Michigan State.
Yep.
Michigan State in the South. I've got Florida winning the West. I've got Duke winning the East. And I've got Houston winning the Midwest. Wow. And I've got Florida winning over Michigan State. And I've got Duke winning over Houston. And then I've got Duke winning the championship.
That's really impressive. None of us have really gone in, other than Nebraska and maybe some Kansas and a little bit of Duke. A little bit of Duke here and there. We haven't gone big picture on college basketball on this show, you and I, to have similar conversations, to have so much similar Final Fours, Mike. But here's the deal. It's Tom Izzo in March, and I'm a big fan of Tom Izzo in March, and I have the Spartans in that Final Four spot out of the South, too. I also have them playing against Florida, a team that I think is really, really good. I'm just a little bit different from you. I've got Michigan State coming out of that matchup in that Michigan State-Florida, so that's one that we can circle in that potentially. I mean, we got to get there first, but that's a potential Final Four matchup that you and I are going to be locked into. Of course, I've got my Duke Blue Devils in the Final Four on the East region. And then I got a little silly in the Midwest. I was telling you that the West was going to be where things got a little wild and chaotic. It turned out to be the Midwest, with the way I have some upsets shaken up. And I'll talk about my first round matchups here in just a little bit. But I'm going to take Kentucky and advance them through that region. And have Duke square off against Kentucky. Obviously, Duke wins. Obviously, Duke wins against Michigan State. Obviously, Duke wins the crown. That's where I go with my heart a little bit. But if Duke can get that far, I think they can get to the finals and take it all home.
All right, again, the NCAA Men's College Basketball Tournament will get underway today at 11 o'clock. So our Extreme Sports Bracket Challenge, you still got a couple of hours to get involved with that. We got some great prizes coming up for our 4 top winners, including our grand prize from Bamboo Mind and Body Spa. We're going to get you a free month of the 24-hour amenities there at Bamboo, including the cryo lounge, the hydro massages, the infrared saunas, and much, much more. So that'll be the grand prize here this year in our bracket challenge. We've got some gift cards from Bullseye Sports Bar and Grill. We'll get you awarded too for the top 4 winners of our bracket challenge. So you still got a couple of hours to get involved with that. Again, 11 o'clock is the scheduled tip-off time for the tournament, and you still got time to get chimed in on that. Just go to our social media sites.
Our IT man, speaking of social media sites, has chimed in on his Final Four. Yeah, he's really gone out on a big stretch here. He went chalk. Auburn, Florida, Duke, Houston, with Duke winning it all.
Yeah, he really went out on a limb on that, baby. He did a lot of studying on that, I bet.
Way to take some risks, Shaner.
Yeah. And, oh, yeah, you said little E. I thought you were talking about E-Man. But you were talking about the
IT.
Our IT guy, Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston, with Duke winning it all.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Shane, he took a lot of time coming up with that. I don't know how he had time to work on our IT stuff. He spent a lot of time working on his brackets. Anyway. 402-834-1330 is our telephone number if you'd like to chime in here today. 402-834-1330. If you'd like to leave us a message on Facebook, you can. All of our social media sites. And yeah, John Gaspers, thanks for listening to us today. And I am in new studios today. In fact, I kind of like the scene here of my new studios. Unfortunately, I've got to give it up today. We're up in Sioux City, just a couple of blocks from the Tyson Event Center in Sioux City, getting ready for Hastings College and Bethel of Tennessee. That is coming up at 1 this afternoon. We'll have pregame coverage with Gina at about 12:45 here today. Ironically, the last time we were here was in 2020, and that was right when COVID was starting. And, in fact, Hastings was the number 1 seed. I think we were the number 1 team in the nation that year in 2020. They were going on a shoot-around at another gym here in Sioux City. I was eating my lunch in the media center at the Tyson Event Center, and they came up with the announcement that the rest of the tournament was going to be canceled. That was right when COVID, it was the day that COVID started spreading across America and everything was shutting down. Well, they shut down the tournament in 2020, so Hastings did not even get on the floor that year, but that was the last appearance that we had here in Sioux City was 2020, right at the beginning of COVID. I remember that like it was yesterday.
Well, and you look at the disruption that, not only COVID caused across the globe, but when you take it and you really fine-tune it and when its impact on sports and how it affected a program. You had a program that was building and gearing up for a national championship run, and it gets halted, and then, lo and behold, 5 years later, here we are back at this stage. But it's taken, 5 years to get some of the momentum that was lost from the pandemic. Just in terms of program building. So glad to see Hastings College back there. The window, by the way, that's an added touch. I love that.
Do you?
Yeah, that's a great added touch.
I'm staying at this hotel that it's got like wildlife in it. It's kind of a cool place.
Wait.
And if you're ever coming to Sioux City, I highly recommend this joint. It's right by the Tyson Event Center. It's called Stony Creek. Is where I'm staying, but they've got it's kind of built like a cabin, and they got all kinds of wildlife sitting around. They got moose heads up above the fireplaces. There's a couple of fireplaces downstairs.
So
they serve a great
couch behind you.
Yeah, look at that couch. You like that?
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I'd like to load that baby up in the back of the Jeep and bring that baby home. Yeah, you think they would notice if I just started moving out furniture out the front door?
There was a couch missing.
Yeah, I like that couch. It's got like deer on it, wildlife. Look out my window. Oh, I was mentioning the breakfast yesterday. I had a great breakfast. In fact, as soon as I'm done here at 8:01, I'm downstairs for breakfast. Yeah, they had a hell of a breakfast yesterday. I enjoyed that. So that was my highlight of the trip so far, probably. The breakfast at the hotel. You're waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning. Back together again for a Huddle Up on Extreme Sports. It is 7:19.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
$7:20 here on Extreme Sports. Local news update. As of late last night, there were currently a few more than 700 outages remaining as the city of Hastings experienced a citywide power outage yesterday during the storm. Linemen staggered ending times so crews could work around the clock. Crews would not stop working to get power restored to Juniata, which was one of the longest areas affected. 4 poles were broken along 12th Street along the North Juniata electric feed, including a corner pole with a full set of transformers. There were also 4 poles broken on the South Juniata feed near DLD Road. That feed was more difficult to access due to the amount of snow removal in the area. Throughout the service area, including Hastings, electric distribution crews were using GIS information based on outage reports to make those repairs with an emphasis on areas containing several outages. Making repairs during the storm was difficult because of the blowing snow and the wind had kept up for so long, making it hard to locate problems, so crews were not able to start clearing problems, I should say, until the late morning. Yesterday's wild winter weather resulted in school, event cancellations, snow-packed roads, blizzard conditions, power outages, downed trees, and other challenges across the state. Governor Jim Pillen said his office and relevant state agencies continue to monitor the ongoing conditions. In addition to state services, officials had been in contact with power companies as they work to restore electricity to their customers. Interstate 80 was closed from Lincoln to North Platte, basically the entire state, in both the east and westbound lanes due to the impassable conditions caused by the low visibility, snow debris, down power lines, and vehicles left in the roadway. And while all that was happening, work continues at the state capitol in the Nebraska legislature, where lawmakers are already proposing additional taxes on cigarettes, and now proposing taxes for those trying to quit smoking too. Nicotine pouches would be taxed under a bill that was given first-round approval yesterday. Senator Jana Hughes' proposal would impose a 20% tax at the wholesale level on alternative nicotine products. Hughes took specific aim at Zins. Zins, the little nicotine pouches that produce the powder. But is the bill perhaps counterproductive? The legislature has already taken initial steps to reduce smoking-related deaths with a bill that plans to put even additional taxes on already expensive cigarettes in the state, and now a 20% increase on alternatives sends the message to the consumer that quitting smoking is just as expensive as smoking. 7:22. That's your news. We'll head over to Iowa, Sioux City, in a beautiful hotel room with Mike Will for your sports.
Yeah, I'm in the northern studios today. The Nebraska baseball team completed its midweek sweep of Pepperdine with an 11-4 win yesterday. Dylan Carey led the Huskers at the plate, going 3 for 4 with a couple of home runs, 3 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. TJ Coates pitched 3 2/3 innings and allowed 2 runs, 3 hits, with 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. Nebraska is now 9-11 on the season. They'll continue Big Ten play this weekend with games at USC. The Nebraska softball team will host Minnesota this weekend. The women's basketball team will play Louisville tomorrow. In the first round, the NCAA tournament tip-off will be at 5. Hastings College women's basketball team will play Bethel of Tennessee today in the round of 16 of the NAIA National Tournament here in Sioux City. The Broncos beat the College of the Ozarks and Huntington of Indiana in the first 2 rounds last week, while the Warriors beat Sterling of Kansas and Benedictine of Kansas. Tip-off of the game today will be at 1. Pre-game show begins at 12:45 here on Extreme Sports. 2 other teams in the Great Plains Athletic Conference will also play in the round of 16. Dordt will be on the floor later tonight. They'll play Langston at 6. Briar Cliff will battle Mid-America Christian out of Oklahoma at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. On the men's side in Kansas City, Northwestern will take on Georgetown of Kentucky tomorrow night at 7. In the play-in games of the NCAA tournament last night, Xavier beat Texas 86-80, and Mount St. Mary's defeated American 83-72. Today, Creighton will play Louisville at 11:15 this morning in the first round of the South Regional. Meanwhile, in the West Regional, Kansas will take on Arkansas at 6:10. Omaha will battle St. John's at 8:45. Texas has fired head men's basketball coach Rodney Terry just hours after losing to Xavier in the play-in game of the NCAA tournament. Terry has spent 3 years at Texas. He'll be due $5.4 million in a contract settlement. Ironically, the leading candidate to replace Terry at Texas as the head coach at Xavier. Will Wade of McNeese State is expected to be named the head coach at North Carolina State. McNeese State will play Clemson today in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The news is expected to be made official following McNeese's exit from the tournament. Wade has spent the past 2 seasons at McNeese, winning 57 games and going 36-2 in conference play, winning back-to-back regular season and conference tournament titles. And in the NFL, the Minnesota Vikings are moving past their discussions with free agent quarterback Aaron Rodgers, leaving second-year player J.J. McCarthy atop the quarterback depth chart as offseason practices get underway. The Vikings' 2024 starter Sam Darnold has signed with the Seattle Seahawks, and free agent Daniel Jones has inked a deal with Indianapolis. McCarthy has recovered from surgery in August to repair a torn meniscus in his right knee, an injury that made him the first quarterback in the modern draft era to be selected in the first round and miss his entire rookie season because of injury. So that's a check on the sports headlines here this morning. It's 7:26 now on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
On this Thursday, we'll have plenty of sunshine. Highs will reach into the low 40s, so we'll melt some of that snow, but it will be breezy. We'll have southwest winds gusting to 30 miles per hour. 33 is the overnight low tonight under mostly cloudy skies. 55 and sunny on Friday, a few afternoon clouds. And once again, winds gusting out of the northwest at 30 miles per hour. On Saturday, we'll have partly sunny skies, a high of 64. It'll be breezy once again. And then on Sunday, breezy and a high of 56.
Right now, you've got clear skies in Hastings. It is 18 degrees. Out my window, as you can see, we've got clear skies. It's 26 in Sioux City. 7:27 now in Extreme Sports.
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, located at 208 South Burlington, Suite 101 in Hastings. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating scalp treatments, and advanced Glow 2 facials, along with ozone therapy and frequency healing. Join us for our spring open house on March 29th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Enjoy free tours, 20% off all bookings, exciting giveaways, and a chance to win a $100 gift card for the first 30 product purchases. Become a member for 24-hour access to amenities like the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge, plus discounts on services and products. Visit us on Facebook to learn more. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Truly holistic care designed for you.
I'm John Butler, funeral director and owner at Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center in Hastings.
And I'm Nikki Butler, the advanced funeral planning specialist. Whether you choose a traditional service, cremation, or a unique memorial service, our experienced staff is here to help guide you through every step. Visit us at lbvfh.com to learn more about our services and how we can support you.
Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center. We are here when your need is greatest.
Hamilton has been providing IT solutions for businesses across the state of Nebraska for more than 3 decades. We know that Nebraska businesses are a driving force of support for the communities in which we live and work. We keep them connected and protected by delivering cybersecurity, hosted phones, and managed IT. We are grateful to be part of our Nebraska communities and to support their technology needs.
More information at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Extreme Sports has been bringing you the exclusive home of Hastings College Athletics, and we're just getting started. Thanks to our incredible sponsors and your support, Extreme Sports 2 has been a huge success. And now we're excited to announce the launch of Extreme Sports 3. With Extreme Sports 3, you'll get even more local sports coverage. Plus, 24/7 access to Sports by Line, where you'll hear the best in national sports talk. Whether it's Hastings College, high school action, or the latest from around the sports world, we've got it covered across all 3 streams. And don't forget, when we're not broadcasting games, join us weekday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for Huddle Up with Mike Will and Tyson Havronik. It's the perfect way to start your day with sports, news, weather, and great local interviews. So tune in, check out all 3 streams, and stay with us for even more sports coverage coming soon. Thank you to our sponsors for making it all possible, and to you, our listeners, for keeping Extreme Sports strong.
All right, Mike Will, Tyson Havronik, you're listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports here today for this Thursday, the first day of spring. March 20th for 2025. Today is also supposed to be the opening day of the high school baseball season. Hastings High had a game scheduled against Norris today out of Duncan Field. I can't imagine. I'm not in Hastings, so I can't imagine the field is going to be ready to play today. There's probably still going to be snow on the ground, I anticipate, so I expect an announcement coming up. Adams Central is supposed to play their home opener and their season opener tomorrow against Wayne at Duncan Field. And I know there are some discussions going on right now about maybe moving that game to Wayne because they didn't have a lot of snow up that way. They expect to make an official announcement on Adams Central and Wayne sometime this afternoon. So I haven't heard anything about the Hastings High game with the Norse, but I can't imagine that the field is going to be ready to play after the blizzard moved through this week.
No, it does look like there's still a lot of removal to be had. The temperatures haven't warmed up yet to really start the snow melt, at least in terms of the ground. I don't know. I haven't been out in that direction to see if they've been working on clearing the field. But yeah, I'm with you. I can't imagine that we'd be up and operational and quite ready to go yet. I will give a special shout out to the city road crews. As we have joked about on this show before, I think they forgot about during the last snow, Boy Street. Boy Street's clear and ready to roll. I've just got to scoop out the driveway and get the car out of the get the car out and ready to roll today. And I think once we do, roads appear to be good, even side streets here in the city of Hastings. So hopefully that we'll get the warm up today and we'll start some snow melt and dig out of this baby. But what a 24 hours. I mean, we had on Tuesday was yesterday. No, Tuesday. Yes. Tuesday, we had the patio up and operational at First Street Brewing Company. We had people enjoying the sunshine and the beautiful weather, and you turn around and less than 12 hours later, we're shutting everything down downtown because of that storm that blowed through. But yeah, can't envision them being ready, but we'll see as the official decisions start to come in there.
It was kind of funny. I was coming up here and on the interstate, those overhead signs that they have, those electronic signs, all the way down the interstate, all the way from Grand Island on into Iowa and up here to Sioux City. It mentioned the blizzard blizzard warnings in effect such and such a time on Wednesday. Adjust your travel plans. And here you're cruising down the interstate and it's 75, 80 degrees out. You look at those signs. Yeah, you look at those signs going, what the hell is this? But yeah, it's just a matter of 24 hours. We go from basking in the sunshine to grabbing the snow shovels again.
Speaking of the first day of spring, March 20th, it's always a good reminder. And happy birthday shout out. My mother's celebrating her birthday today.
Oh, hi, Mom.
Here on this 20th day of March. So happy birthday to Mom as we get going, and we'll have birthday plans. We'll discuss those as we move along throughout the day. But yeah, Mom's celebrating a birthday today. She didn't get a very good present yesterday. That's for damn sure, as she was also among those without power for a good majority of the morning. But yeah, birthday, first day of spring, and we get greeted into spring with the blizzard. It's like one last gasp from Mother Nature saying, hey, give it 12 hours, it'll change.
You mentioned the roads. I did see a Facebook post earlier today, Highway 6. Out of Hastings out toward Adams Central. Evidently, there's some problems out that way. So if you're traveling on Highway 6 west of Hastings out toward Adams Central, be careful and slow down. There are some areas out there that are not in good shape, either because of the snow or because the road is given away or something out that way. So be careful if you're traveling out west of Hastings on Highway 6. Again, Adams Central is closed today. Aurora is closed. Blue Hill closed. Central Community College Hastings starting at 11. Centura is starting at 10. Christ Lutheran Elementary in Juniata starting at 10. Donovan Trumbull is closed today. Gibbon starting 2 hours late. Harvard is closed. Hastings College, the morning classes are canceled. Afternoon classes will meet in person today. Hastings Public Schools starting classes at 10. That's why Ryan Martin got to join us this morning. Kennesaw starting at 10 o'clock, Minden at 10. Red Cloud is closed, Silver Lake closed, and Wood River starting 2 hours late.
There you go.
So there you have the school closings again. Again, as far as the bracket challenge is concerned, you still got a couple of hours to get included on that. The main prize from Bamboo Mind and Body Spa, a free month. There are 24-hour amenities, including the cryo lounge, the hydro massages, the infrared saunas, and much, much more. We've also got some gift cards. We'll take you out to lunch and dinner at a Bullseye Sports Bar and Grill of Hastings. So get signed up for that, and who knows, you could be a lucky winner. I gave you the first round picks yesterday. I was able to get on the air yesterday. Tyson did not have power in his Western studio. So, Tyson, you already gave us your final four, but if you'd like to help people out, with their bracket challenge to get them started here today, give me your first round winners for today and tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll dive in here. We'll start and we'll move our way down. We'll start off in the South where Auburn, War Eagle, Amber's pick to win it all has their first round matchup. I've got all the one seeds advancing. There's no secrets here. So Auburn moving on, and I've got them taking on the Creighton Blue Jays, who I've got getting by Louisville this morning, and it'll be Auburn-Creighton matchup. Then we're moving on, and it's Michigan in their matchup against UC San Diego to take on Texas A&M, who I do have beating Ivy League Yale, despite some back and forth on that. Was considering putting Yale into the round of 32. North Carolina, they look damn good in their play-in game. And I got to be really honest. I'm starting to waver on North Carolina versus Iowa State, who I have beating Lipscomb. But as of now, I've got North Carolina taking out Mississippi. And going to flip a coin here in that Iowa State-North Carolina game in a second because, yeah, North Carolina looked polished. Marquette over New Mexico and Michigan State with Tom Izzo in the first round. Then we're going to move down, and in the western side of the bracket, I've got Florida to take on UConn, who I have beating Oklahoma. Memphis, Colorado State, we talked about that being a potential 5-12. I went the other way. I went with the 5 seed, went with the favorite. I got enough upsets going on in this bracket that we don't need to create even more chaos. So Memphis to take on Grand Canyon. I have Grand Canyon defeating Maryland. They are one of my Cinderella teams for the year. The matchup that was the most difficult for me to eventually put pen to paper on And by the way, putting pen to paper on a bracket is just so much more satisfying than clicking links on an app. Either way, regardless, I have Drake. I did take Drake out of the Missouri Valley to take down Missouri, and so move the Bulldogs into round 2, where I have them taking on 3-seeded Texas Tech. I have got Kansas to defeat Arkansas, and then just to shake things up in the Wild Wild West to create
You didn't.
a little bit of chaos.
You didn't.
I took the trash cans out and have pushed the UNO Mavericks on into round 2 to upset St. John's. That is my upset special. Out of all of the upsets, I've got a 15 seed, the UNO Mavericks, moving on with victory over St. John's. There's zero logic to it other than the fact that I love the trash can story. Coach gets pissed off at a game, kicks around a trash can. Next thing you know, team gets fired up. So that's what they do in their locker room all the time is they kick around trash cans. I love it. Give me the Mavericks over St. John's.
St. John's.
Flying over to the east side, we have got Duke to take on Baylor, who I have Baylor beating Mississippi State. You can't go up against Altman in the postseason, so give me the Oregon Ducks over Liberty Bibberty. We have got Arizona over the Akron Zips. And then I got VCU, a team that is kind of always typical to pull off some upsets in March. I've got them to upend BYU. Give me Wisconsin over Montana. I am taking St. Mary's over Vanderbilt in a game that I was kind of hemming and hawing about, but I figured I'm only going to have that team going one round anyway, so you might as well go with the favorite. I went chalk there. St. Mary's over Vanderbilt. Bama over Robert Morris. Bottom half of the bracket, Houston over SIU Edwardsville. I would have taken SIU in just about any other matchup other than a 1-16, but albeit Houston will move on and take on Gonzaga, who I have defeating Georgia. One of my other big teams that I've got going a pretty good distance is McNeese State. You already highlighted their head coaching scenario. It'll be intriguing to me how that news kind of shakes up the team a little bit here. The news coming out before the tournament even gets underway that McNeese head coach is going to be taking over the North Carolina State job. That could potentially shake up the bracket, but I'm going to go with my heart here and say, man, I really liked the way McNeese has played. So give me the Cowboys in that matchup over Clemson. Purdue over High Point. I'm going to take a Big Ten team go down. I have Xavier knocking off Illinois in the opening round. Xavier is one of those traditional teams that you can just kind of pencil in to potentially pull off an upset or two. So give me Xavier to continue their tournament run. I love Kentucky over Troy. UCLA I have over Utah State. And Tennessee over Wofford. So a couple upsets in there for you, most notably McNeese, Grand Canyon, and then I threw UNO just for fun.
You understand that UNO is like a 25-point underdog in that ball game with the St. John's today.
Bet the Mavericks.
Let's see. I got a lot of the same picks you do, except for the ones that you went off of your rocker and took St. John's and McNeese State and Grand Canyon. I do not have those teams. I'm on the opposite side of that. So
you went the other way?
Yeah, we got a lot of other.
Who is your dark horse? Who's your biggest seed that you have advancing into the second round?
Colorado State.
Yep. Figured it might be. That one kind of intrigued you and piqued your interest earlier this week, so I figured you would go that direction.
In fact, I got Colorado State moving on even against Maryland.
There you go.
But other than that, all right, we'll monitor those. Again, if you like, our bracket challenge got started when everybody was giving us guff on our football picks. So if you'd like to go up against me and Tyson in the bracket challenge, we both have our picks submitted on our bracket challenge. If you'd like to play along and try to beat us, we'll give you updates on how we did. It's going to score automatically, so we'll know how we're doing as the tournament wears on. Just to complete the bracket challenge, go to our social media sites. You'll find it. It's all over the place. Get signed up today. You still got a couple of hours until 11 o'clock or so. You can get into our bracket challenge. And ironically, Creighton right out of the gates with one of the first games today. They'll play at 11:15. Creighton will take on Louisville. So Yeah, the tournament will get it started at 11. We got some local flavor in right off the bat.
Right off of the gates, yep. About 3 hours here yet to get those brackets submitted. If you've not done so, again, head over to our social media sites, click on the link, and get registered to win some fabulous prizes. A spa day over with Bamboo, and we've got Bullseye gift certificates to treat you out to supper or happy hour or maybe a company lunch. So get plenty of great prizes to be won, all with our March Madness Bracket Challenge, and looking forward to getting the tournament underway.
All right, 7:44. Quick note on Hastings College today. Again, we'll play at 1 this afternoon here in Sioux City. 12:45 will be the pregame show. We're playing Bethel of Tennessee today. Bethel is the number 1 seed in the Kramer quadrant. They've got the tournament broken down into 4 different quadrants. Well, Bethel is the number 1 seed. Hastings the number 4 seed. Nationally, Hastings are ranked number 18 in the final poll. Bethel, the number 16 ranked team. Bethel had a losing record in their conference this year. They qualified for the national tournament by winning their Mid-South Conference tournament. They were the champions there. But they were 5-7 in their conference during the regular season. They're making their 15th appearance in the national tournament. This is their first time they've been there since 2022, and their overall record in the tournament is 9-14. I like the Broncos' chances to win this game today. Bethel, a team that averages about 76 points per ball game on offense. They give up 61 on defense. Hastings, in the 2 games last week, they scored 112 and 90 against the College of the Ozarks and Huntington. Broncos making their 22nd appearance in the national tournament, their first since 2020. Our overall record, 42-17 with 3 national championships. And the Broncos, I don't know if they would be favored in today's game, but I like them. I like the matchup. Bethel has a couple of sisters that are really anchoring their offense. Madison Hart and Micah Hart, the 2 leading scorers, averaging about 16 points per ball game. Madison Hart, she had 30 in the finals against Benedictine last week. So those are 2 girls that will have to shut down today. But I like the Broncos' chances. If we win here, Hastings will play again on Saturday at 1. And looming in the bracket that we would have to play is Southern Oregon. And Southern Oregon is the tournament's only undefeated team. So if they win today and Hastings wins, we'll be matched up on Saturday at 1 o'clock. So some intriguing matchups here in the NAIA Women's College Basketball Tournament. Anxious to get started again. 12:45 will be the pregame. 1 o'clock for the tip. We'll see how far the Broncos can roll on.
There we go. Are we ready to switch gears to city government?
Hop me in the back of the buggy here, and let's switch gears. You had a chance to have a one-on-one, huh?
Yep, one-on-one exclusive interview with Mayor Jay Beckby here on Huddle Up as we move along throughout the week. It's a 2-part series. I promise you, Mike, we will get to quiet zones in the interview. We did bring it up. It did make mention, but that'll be in part 2 coming up for tomorrow morning. But we had a State of the City address this past Monday last week, and then we kind of took and dove further into some of those talking points that he had in his State of the City. He officially had his first 90 days in office this week, so we talk about the first 90 days of Mayor Jay Beckby at the helm at the city of Hastings and what he has in store for his first term. Welcome back to Huddle Up this morning here on Extreme Sports. Tyson Abronic with you in city office this morning. Pleased to be joined by Hastings Mayor Jay Beckby, who joins us a week removed from last Monday's State of the City address, and we'll be talking a little bit about some of the talking points within that State of the City address, and really kind of all things first couple months on the job for Hastings' newly elected mayor. So with that, Mayor, we do appreciate the time. We appreciate the accessibility. You mentioned in your State of the City address, want to be one of the most accessible mayors, and you've delivered on that promise on our end, joining us here on this week's show. So we appreciate the time.
I appreciate it as well, and thank you for having me. I do enjoy getting out and speaking with the public on a personal level, and also, TV, radio, any media. Where one of my biggest goals is to be transparent with the citizen and put everything in front of them that we're doing.
And with that, let's, speaking of everything that's been going on, everything that we're doing here, talk about maybe your first couple months in office and some of the things that you have been doing, some of the meetings that you have been attending, departments that you have met with, and just kind of a quick overview and highlight of kind of what you found out about the job.
I'm in my first 90 days, and I think it's right at 90 days, darn near. And I've met literally with almost everybody, from boards to department heads across the front. And so far, the reception's been good. I really came in with a business mentality. A city's not a business, but we can certainly take some different aspects of running a business and apply that to the city. And the first thing I did was I came in, I sat down with everybody, got their feel, where they want to head things in the future, and I really just am trying to propose a plan to get there and working with them. That's the big thing, working together, coming across the fence and talking with each other and finding out my goals, their goals, and applying common sense and making conscientious decisions for the public. It's a pretty simple process, and so far just getting my feet wet. We're not really technically involved in a lot of stuff, but looking at growth, certainly industrial growth. We're looking at continuing the apartment and the housing growth. I really said in my State of the City address that I was really going to focus on backyards, garages, and housing. We're putting up, I think we've got between Hastings College and the 26th and Elm and some of the elderly units that are going up in town. I think we're over 600 units there, and now I really want to focus on housing. So going forward, that looks good. We're really looking at bringing in an industrial park. I've been working hand in hand with Shannon Landauer and Randy Chick from the CRA, and obviously Shannon once again from the HEDC, looking at land that we can take advantage of near Hastings, that we can get so many acres and build a blueprint, and that way we can go out and seek out industry all over and offer them land and utility incentives and how we're going to build it out. Not going to so much put up spec buildings, but just give them a blueprint. Say, look, we've got 200 acres right here. What do you need? What do you need for water? What do you need for electricity? What do you need for infrastructure? How big of a building do you want? Let's work this in, and let's put you in here and put some more, butts in the seats of the homes of Hastings.
Hastings Mayor Jay Beckby joining us this morning here on Huddle Up, and we'll focus on housing for a little bit. And I'm going to try not to get too emotional, but you talk about backyards and garages, and I just speak from personal experience, having moved back to Hastings after living in Grand Island for 10 years and being able to find a house. And granted, it's a rental, but it's a house. It's a backyard. It's got a yard. I couldn't wait to go mow the front lawn. And this is after 15 years of doing apartment living. And so I think that you speak to a lot of potential residents that want that housing. And so where are those opportunities, and where do we look to further those the backyards and garages and having homes for people to call their own?
Well, I think that's a passion for everybody. Mm-hmm. I spent years in the Army, and I spent some years in college, and I spent years out in the business sector when I couldn't quite afford a home. So I feel the same pain that 99% of every other citizen feels. I don't want to live forever down the hallway from 20 other doors and things like that, and noises. And that's what I aspired to have, was a house with a backyard. I think that's what that's the American dream.
Yeah.
And it should be attainable here in Hastings. And those housing units we're looking at, right now we've got a couple different areas that we're looking at expanding for our local developers. And that we've got a couple areas out north, one area to the northeast. I'm looking at an area that we can expand towards the southern side of our city, and that's what we want to bring. We want to bring local developers into that market that we've opened up for some bigger developers over the last few years. We'll bring them in to build houses. I mean, there's a bunch of good home builders in this area, so that's where I really want to focus, and it's because that's what everybody's dream is. Everybody's dream is a front door, a backyard, a garage, and get out on that mower.
Absolutely. Hastings Mayor Jay Beckby again joining us this morning here on Huddle Up. Let's talk about the business side of things and running the city like a business, and with that business aspect comes budgets. You've made in your State of the City address a commitment to start that budget process earlier than has been done in the past, and the budget was a key focal point of that address.
As I was running, I attended every city council meeting that we had. I attended every board that we had. I sat in as a candidate, and there was a few things I heard. Two of the biggest points that were driven home were obviously what we just talked about, housing and the availability of housing so we can bring business in. And I think we're addressing that, really well. Another one was industry. We're addressing that. Now I'm going to go to the third one. The third one, and perhaps the most important point that was driven home to me, was the budget process. We ran a $1.6 million, we were running a $1.6 million deficit. We took some money, I think, away from a self-insurance fund to help get by for a while. And we cut a few small capital investments back, and maybe a little bit of operational investment. But the key is just like with any business. When you go into a business, you look at it and say, where are we at? Are we running red ink or are we running black ink? And how close to that line are we running? Where do we want to be? And then you look at it through your budget process, whether it's a small business, whether it's your house with your wife, or whether it's a large, multi-million-dollar budget like Hastings. We got to look at it, and we got to figure out a way to get there. One way to get there is operational expenses or capital expenses. The only thing you worry about there is, do you suffer on the service side? We don't want the citizen to suffer on the service side. There are some cuts we can make there, but not that big. Then you look at personnel, and like I said in my State of the City address, I'm not going to cost any person their livelihood or their job. All I'm going to simply do is go through, and whether it is promotion, whether they move around within that manning table, or they retire, there are opportunities there to take people, move them up from underneath, and possibly look at combining job positions together where we can save money on the backside. I think I had the guys go through it and figured it up, and I think it was a little over $350,000 we've already saved off the budget right now just by doing exactly that. We had a couple people move to different positions. We had a couple people move on and to a different city. We had one retire, and we can backfill from those positions and make that happen and save money on the manning table. So that's one thing we're looking at. It's just been it's been an interesting process so far for 90 days. We've got a long way to go. I don't want to sit there and say that we're going to take from that self-insurance fund every year to make up for that shortfall of whether it's $750,000, I think it was last year, maybe up to $1 million, and that thing was at $10 million, and we can do with less. But my mom and dad when I was growing up, they always had this saying, and my mom especially, don't rob Peter to pay Paul, okay? Because soon Peter's going to be out of money. And I don't want to get to that position with Hastings. I want to be self-sufficient. There's ways we can do that. Bringing industry in, setting up, having our HEDC really work on putting more families into Hastings, putting more money into Hastings. That increases the tax dollars as far as property tax, business, and buying homes. It also increases the sales tax. So that's raising revenue. So we need to raise revenue. We need to cut expenses. We need to be very creative when we do that. And those processes together are a budget process. And an issue I had last year was when I was sitting in on the city council meetings was we didn't start that budget process till I believe it was September. And that budget had to be done in October. We're starting that budget process this year in April. We've already had talks. We already had one subcommittee meeting. We've got 12 of them coming up. I'm taxing my city council and my staff because that's going to be our focus. And they've never had that before. 12 separate meetings ahead of our budget time. And we're going to start the budget process here in April. And we're going to run that all the way through. And when we get done, we're going to have a well thought out budget that has all those factors I just mentioned in it. You know, from operational expenses to capital expenditures, making sure we don't take away services. We're going to look at our manning table to make sure that we've got the less bloated government we can possibly have, but still maintain the service for the citizen. And that's where your budget process comes into. It's a matter of just red ink versus black ink, and we've got to get the black ink up.
And again, that's Mayor Jay Beckby joining us on Huddle Up. That's part one of our two-part conversation. We will continue that conversation coming up on tomorrow. But as you see, we hit the 8 o'clock mark here for the hour. Mike's got a date with his gorgeous continental breakfast over at the hotel as you get set for Bethel. One quick note, man. I just checked the entrance for our bracket challenge. What a spike. I think people had a lot of time on their hands yesterday with the power outage, and apparently we're filling out some brackets. We have got so far 3 pages of entrance into our bracket challenge. So those numbers continue to climb. Good luck and enjoy the games, everybody. Mine has just been officially made official. I took a look at my hand-printed bracket. I did make a few modifications to the bracket in terms of like some second round matchups and one first round matchup. I want to make a quick note. I have taken Yale and pushed them through in that matchup against Texas A&M. So that changes what I had said earlier. I had a last minute change of heart. So give me Ivy League Yale to beat Texas A&M, and those are my picks. So we are in and ready to roll with the Duke Blue Devils as your national champion. Tournament gets underway. It's going to be it's my favorite time of the year. These first 2 days, Thursday and Friday.
All right, if you'd like to listen to the show again, get Tyson's first-round picks, you can. Just go to our social media sites, get the podcast rundown there. Maybe you want to listen to what the mayor had to say, missed a portion of that. You can do that. Go to our podcast sections of all of our social media sites. Even if you're on Roku TV on the app there's a spot where you can listen to this show again. So that puts the wraps on things. Yeah, my breakfast is waiting downstairs. I need to get down there before they shut the damn thing off. I told them I might be a little bit later tomorrow, so we'll head downstairs. Then we're heading over to the Tyson Event Center today. 12:45 for the pregame show, 1 o'clock for the tip-off. Hastings and Bethel of Tennessee today in the NAIA National Tournament. So, boy, there's lots going on today. Today would have been a great day for a snowstorm, so we could stay home and watch basketball. NCAA basketball tournament getting started today. We've got the tournament here in Sioux City, and the men are playing down in Kansas City. Yeah, why didn't the snowstorm come today? Been a lot easier.
It would have been a hell of a time though if the power went out and I didn't have basketball. Yeah. Oh my God, I would have panicked.
Oh yeah. So maybe it was better to have it yesterday. So anyway, Enjoy your day, and we'll get back together again tomorrow morning at 7. We'll talk to you again this afternoon from the Tyson Event Center. Have yourself a great day.
You've been listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports, Central Nebraska's new home for sports. Join us every weekday morning from 7 until 8 on Extreme